Hello everybody and welcome to another Belly Beat Belly Dance mini lesson. So in our previous videos we went over all of our basic slow movements. We did our figure eights, we did our undulations, we did our hip circles. Today we're going to move on to some of the faster, more rhythmic movements. And we're going to start with our shimmies. So before we begin, just as with all the other classes, we want to make sure that our posture is properly aligned. So we're going to make sure that the floor, our pelvic floor muscles are nice and firm. We're going to pull them in. We're going to hold the stomach muscles in a little firm, bring the energy up into the chest, and we're going to make sure that our knees are slightly bent. So the first thing that we're going to do to initiate our shimmies is we're going to focus on which muscle groups we're going to use. Now, there are two different ways that we can initiate a shimmy. We can either use the muscles in our hips, or we can use the muscles along the back of the thigh, the hamstrings. So what I'll do is I will show you how to initiate the movement from each muscle group and explain what the benefits are, the pros and cons to using those muscles. So first, we'll start learning how to initiate the shimmy from using the hamstring muscles. So I'm going to turn sideways so that you can see what I'm doing. My knees are slightly relaxed. And what I'm doing is I'm using the muscles here in the back of the thigh, the hamstring muscles, and I'm just shifting those muscles back and forth, alternating from side to side. So if you're looking at the left side here, you see what I'm doing with this muscle. I'm shifting back, and when I do that, it automatically makes the other side, the right side, shift forward. And then I just alternate on the other side with the right side. I'm going to shift that hamstring muscle back. And now we're just going to keep going side to side, alternating. So we're going to go left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. So now let me do it facing you so you can see what it looks like. So once again, I'm starting with the left side and I'm shifting the muscle left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And you'll notice that as I shift these muscles, it causes the hip to swing out to the side. So I'm shifting the muscles back and forth, and it's causing the hips to swing from side to side. Now, the most important thing to remember with a shimmy when you're first learning how to do it is not to be overly concerned with your speed. Speed is something that's going to come with time as you develop the strength and the coordination in the muscles. So the first thing that you want to focus on is your form. Now, I should say that before we start shifting the muscles, we want to make sure that everything is relaxed. In other words, when you're shifting these muscles, you don't want to put a lot of force into it. You just want to gently move it. So, in other words, well, let me show you what you don't want to do first, and then I'll go back. In other words, when I say you don't want to put a lot of force in it, you don't want to holding the muscles really tight and forcing it. You want to keep everything nice and relaxed. And you're just gently shifting those muscles in your legs alternately. And what you get from that is a nice, relaxed swing in the hips. Now, if you want to find your top speed, speed up just a little bit. And you still have a nice relaxed swing in your hips. Now, if you try to go faster and faster and you find that what you get is you start, getting a little tight jiggle, that's your body's way of telling you that your muscle coordination isn't quite there yet. What you do is you go back, you slow down, and you find what your top speed is that will allow you to do the movement in the most comfortable way. Now, when I first started learning how to do this movement, it was very difficult for me. I had been dancing for, I guess, about 10 years, and I really hadn't learned how to shimmy properly. It wasn't until I started really going to, well, it wasn't until I really started paying attention to the dancers in Egypt and really watching them, analyzing instead of just watching for entertainment, that I noticed that there was a very big difference in the way they made a shimmy and the way I was doing it. Because when they were shimmying, those hips were just bouncing up and down, very relaxed, very loose, and it was really matching perfectly the beats in the drum when they were dancing. So I tried to do the same thing, and I couldn't do it because I'd never exercised these muscles before, so I didn't have the strength and I didn't have the coordination. So what I had to do is I had to slow down really, really slow. And at first, I couldn't go any faster than this because my muscles had been so weak. So what I did is, anytime I tried to go any faster than this, I would start losing control. So I had to just go where my body, I had to just go at the level that my body was comfortable. And this was it. This was as fast as I could go. But by doing the movement correctly, what happened is that my muscles were being exercised. And as the muscles started to get exercised, they started to grow stronger and stronger. And then, after a little while, I could go a little bit faster. And I would do that, I'd keep it there. I was able to keep control. When I started doing it, though, at times, my muscles would start to tense up. I would start, they would start to lock on me, and I'd start to lose my coordination. And what I would do in those moments is I would realize that I was holding tension in the muscles in my legs. And that was what was causing me to freeze up. So what I would do two things. I would stop and I would just stretch my leg muscles out. Get the tension out, and then I would also pay very close attention to my breathing. So what I would do is I would start shimmying, and when I started to feel the nervousness, the anxiety, the tension building up in the muscles, I'd take a deep breath. And then as I exhaled, I would just focus on the tension in the muscles and feel those muscles relaxing. So what I was doing is I was doing breathing exercises to relax the muscles gradually as I was exercising them. And so by doing that, I learned to let go of the tension in the muscles so that they could do their job properly. And after another few weeks or a few months, I got the strength in my legs and I was able to go a little bit faster. And so I kept going on in that way. I don't know how many months it took me, but eventually I was able to get a full speed shimmy and maintain my control. And now you notice that as fast as I'm going, I'm not winded. I can go this fast at my top speed, and I can still speak to you in a regular voice. And so that's what you want to be able to do. So don't worry about the speed, because the speed is going to come as long as you're working on exercising the muscles properly. So now that we've gone over the first method of generating our shimmy, let's move to the second one. The second method is using the muscles in the hips exclusively. So just like the first one, we're going to make sure our posture is in proper alignment, and we're going to keep the knees slightly bent. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the muscles in the hips and we're just going to swing the hips from side to side. And once again, we're not really concerned at this point with speed. We're really concerned with form, because just as with the other method, by doing the movement properly, you're going to be exercising the muscles. And as the muscles get more exercised, they get more toned, and that will give you the coordination to allow you to be able to go faster. So, once again, you're going to find your top speed, and remember, your top speed is the speed that you can go the fastest while maintaining proper form. And once again, proper form should be your hips swinging from side to side. And once again, everything should be nice, relaxed, and loose. Now, the advantages of using this method over the other one is that by using the hip muscles, by swinging from the hip muscles, it gives you a lot more versatility in what you can do. Because if you're shifting your hamstrings, you can only do a shimmy or swing your hips like this if you're in place. However, if you're swinging the hips, if you're swinging your shimmy from your hips, you can do it in place. And you can also take it across the floor. So you're not limited to just being in one position. You can do all kinds of things with this shimmy if you're generating it from the hips, because your legs are not involved. So that means you can keep these hips going and place your feet in any direction or any position that you want. So I would encourage you to experiment. It's always good to learn how to do things in more than one way. Certainly couldn't hurt. If anything else, it's helping to, build up your hamstring muscles. So practice both methods. Once again, taking your time and just building those muscles up so that eventually you'll be able, once again, to go at your top speed and be perfectly relaxed, perfectly in control. And you want that because here's the other thing with a shimmy. It's not just about making a fast movement. All of our movements, all the movements that we do are really about two things. Number one, it's about expressing your personality and your emotions through the movements. And secondly, it's about interpreting the music. So sometimes the music wants a fast shimmy, Sometimes it wants something medium, sometimes it wants something slow. Sometimes it goes back and forth. It'll start slow and then gradually start going faster and faster and faster and then slow down. And you want to be able to ride right on top of that music. So by learning how to control your muscles, you can do anything you want at whatever speed you want. You can be in perfect control, and you will be able to shimmy like a professional in no time. So once again, take your time, study at your own pace, work with your body. Your body will always let you know where it's at, and your body will never fail you as long as you're working with it and you're listening to what it's telling you. So that's another Belly to Beat Belly Dance mini lesson with Tariq Sultan. I'll see you in class, and if you have any questions in class, or you can email me, just ask me anything, and I'll be more than welcome, more than happy to explain anything to you, okay? Bye-bye.